I'm not going here because I have any particular agenda. I have noticed that the Derrick White chatter definitely has picked up a tad. So I want your take on just, came out, had a great debut. The shooting's been bad, continues to be bad. Minutes have been down a little bit as well. 2020,
Pritchard breaking into it a little bit.
and then Pritchard's kind of sneaking in there. But there's a lot of people who are mad right now, or not mad. A lot of people who are having some buyer's remorse right now. Not because you're looking at Richardson, who's played twice over in San Antonio, and Romeo, who's yet to play. There's not even a stock photo of Romeo with a Spurs uniform on you can find. There's people doing Romeo Langford is out with an injury stories with him like in an Indiana
in the Celtics
uniform. Yeah. So, and nobody's lamenting the loss of those guys, I think, but a lot of people are kind of like, wait, what did we get in this guy? So again, Bobby, you tend to be the guy who kind of, will calm everybody down on this stuff. Your overall thoughts on his play, how he's been used, what he's been doing lately. He definitely had a bad game last game, and I thought he had a good start to this one. The shooting, though, is just, it's there, and I don't see it fixing itself. So I think people are just going to have to live with it. This really feels like we're going to be having Marcus Smart kind of conversations with this guy for the rest of his contract, because that's the type of player he is. He's going to be one of those players that the box score is not going to necessarily look great, and there's going to be impact there that you can't necessarily quantify, but it comes in his style and what he gives the game. But are you seeing that, last few games?
No, I'm not. And I brought it up after the last game, and
Yeah.
Comment is going to freak out here because I've been pretty tough on him. Coming into the night, 35% from the field over his last 5, 20% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. So you're basically talking about a catch and shoot guy who just can't hit him at all right now. And he does get to the line a little bit, hits those. The secondary ball movement that he brings.
He's got that floater game going,
Yeah, it's just if you're playing a guy at that level, you don't want him to be 0 from the field, which is essentially what he's been over the last 6 games here after that great debut that we all loved. But what you essentially trade off in Richardson, who is looking like the better offensive player right now between the two, at least scoring-wise, you picked up in ball movement, which, of course, in February, as I said, 6th assist percentage, and defense, which
guys, I know it's the first round picks.
Better
you can't lament the loss of first round picks yet. People are like, it's not the players, it's the picks. We know the deal was about the picks, not the players. I'm saying at this moment, you're not lamenting the loss of people that were currently on your roster that deeply. But yes, you are missing the shooting, and that hasn't been an issue. When you're holding teams to 83 points, nobody gives a crap if Derrick White goes 1 of 5 from 3. But when the offense goes cold, again, the formula on this team, Bobby, works only when Tatum and Brown are both on point. And carrying the offense, ball is moving. Those high assist games, which obviously those guys need to be knocking down their shots in order to get to that number. And then White just kind of fills in wherever you need him. He's not supposed to be carrying the offense. He's not supposed to be scoring 20 plus points on any given night. That's just not what he's there for. But you got to put the clamps on other teams, and then your best offensive players have to play well.
And it's working, right?
And it works. It's been working.
So they're 4-2 with them. They are 2nd in defense, 3rd in offense. It's hard to argue with that, and that includes this game here. So they essentially bet on, all right, we're not going to be a good shooting team at all, and that's essentially what downed them here, and there will be games where they can't hit any threes that are going to end up being losses for them. But if they're even better than they were defensively, which they have been so far, and the passing leads to better offense, the transition, the pace, all that different kind of stuff, you end up being a better team than this mismatched group with Ennis and Schroeder and Richardson.
There's no doubt. But again, it's the White is White doing what you expected him to do? White was supposed to go and be the guy who makes, how many times did Brad say this in his press conference? Accentuate the Jays, make the Jays better, make the Jays better, make the Jays better. Are you seeing that?
A little bit, not as much as we thought. It's the ball movement overall, and he hasn't been great.
Ball movement is great, but it's a team thing. I'm not seeing.
Yes, it's a team thing, and they're all fitting together better. It's just he's not flashing off individually, which is concerning because you do want a guy like that you paid that price for to be standing out. It's just he seems to be more of a subtle impact guy. In this game, 3 blocks, a charge take, a steal. those don't flash off the page, but it's extra possessions that you get for yourself. And then let's say the hockey assist that he racks up. He's going to be another subtle impact guy for sure.
I like
The-
him. I like
the-
him. Like I said, it's a matter of impact. Yeah, I think people are expecting not necessarily him to come and do stuff he's not supposed to do, but we're looking for a little bit higher level of playmaking, him to be a bit more of a floor general when he's out there with the ball, and the defense has certainly been there, and that's fine. But like I said, it just feels like Marcus Light,
yeah.
right now, which again is fine. But I mean, you're talking about Marcus Smart, who's a guy people were ready to ship out of town in order to get something that kind of bolsters the offense here. And this was the fear, is like, oh, it's a redundancy. But the first few games, everything fit, and it was okay. This was a great complementary piece. So again, it's going to take a lot longer than a 6-game snapshot to really get a sense of the fit here. I like the player overall. I just don't know if we should be expecting more than what we're seeing.
It's been mildly disappointing, I'll say. He stepped into the starting lineup on the night Smart was out, and they lost to Detroit. So that's as big of a sign as any that he's not necessarily a guy that can step right into that spot and perform when you can't beat the worst team in the NBA on your spot start night there. I know Rob was out as well, so they were down a number of guys in that game. But overall, you're looking at a guy who can't finish the catch and shoot threes opportunity right now. We thought it would go up. Yeah, with more space playing
exactly, because
Jays.
he wouldn't be forcing it. You're not on a team where there's not you don't really have exactly. That was the point. Everyone thought the shooting would go up because with Tatum and Brown, the focus will be so much on those guys. His looks are going to be so clear and easy and free on a catch and shoot that the percentage naturally is going to go up. And it was 31, which is down from his career numbers. So just seeing it again, it's a small sample size. So I mean, he goes out and he has a 6 for 8 game in one game, and the percentage is going to be back into the mid 30s. So again, it's a small snapshot, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and over these last 7 games, because I'm kind of the first one, it was the good one, just like accentuating how bad he's been the last 6 here. But if we're just looking at the overall impact of the team through these first 7 with him here, you are seeing little bumps from Tatum and Brown, even Smart, who continues to play well from a scoring perspective, and I think is still taking that point guard role as his own, over 5 assists a game over that stretch. So overall, I feel good about the ball movement, which has just gone through the roof. Remember, it was in the tank for that second quarter of the season where they were way down low in terms of assist percentage.
Yeah, brutal.
This is the first time since 2020 where they're really in that upper echelon of ball movement, which is, again, it's the what you're weighing here. You want this guy to be a smash hit because you gave up a lot for him. But if the effect of just him being there versus the guys that you had before is an overall better team result, that's good too. And you're weighing, do you walk away because of this extra pick that they're asking for? Or do you actually go and get this guy that you really want? I still lean towards saying yes. If you targeted this guy and say he's going to be this perfect fit here, which I think he's looked close to so far, you'll kind of give him this grace period here where he really hasn't looked that good individually. But you can't argue with what the teams look like. They still look solid. Even in a loss, they're starting to do a lot of the same things.
They do, but they were winning heading into – I mean, they were winning before the deadline. I mean, you can't discount that.
Yeah, but Schroeder was inevitably gone, so you need someone to fill that gap.
He was,
Richardson,
but again – yeah.
I still, some Celtics fans really fell in love with Richardson. I'm interested to see how people are feeling about him in the comments compared to White individually, because that was the real trade-off, right? You would have been looking at Richardson as the backup point guard.
My opinion was always that I didn't think White over Richardson made you measurably better, and then you gave up the firsts. I didn't think he was like today on the court. I didn't know. Richardson also fit with what they were doing defensively. He's not the elite defender that White is, but he was a better shooter and probably a better offensive player. He doesn't move the ball as well as White. Mm-hmm. There was a trade. I'm just saying, if you were to rate the Celtics on a scale of 1 to 100 and they were playing at like a 90 prior to the trade, I don't know that White put you more than 90.5, versus Richardson. Like, I don't know how huge a gap it was going to be if they played the rest of the season out with what they had. So then it just comes down to, did you get the thing you needed most? What did the team need? And that's what's all people are going to always argue here. On nights when they shoot cold, everyone's going to be like, geez, we need a shooter. We got half the people in the comments saying, like, I want Buddy Hield. You didn't really want Buddy Hield. Trust me.
Joe Sway did.
Some people do, but I mean, you know, when you have Buddy Hield out there and then he can't guard a freaking person, and then, you know, whatever, he has one of his cold nights, you're like, oh my God, why did we grab this guy? But again, I thought Richardson was playing fine. I wasn't in love with him by any means. To justify the trade and the price, you need White to immediately make a large impact and then sustain it throughout. And he has at times. I want to see more. That's all.
Yeah, that debut was really exciting if that's the peak value they can bring there, because he was amazing in that game, especially coming right out and doing the things he did on both ends there. It's going to be interesting to see how his role evolves, because he still doesn't really seem to know what he's doing and what his job is night in, night out. I'm sure Ime's still trying to figure that out too. He's just kind of a guy who
he's
just
the
ball,
with.
makes a quick decision, and that's it.